The Houston Astros got a third series win on the season. Hayden Wesneski, the Houston kid, looked great today. And Isac Paredes tripled it up. Let's talk about it on this edition of Locked On Astros.
Jainel Diaz, this is Locked On Astros.
Hello and welcome to Locked On Astros, your daily Astros podcast. Here are your hosts, Eric the Man Huysman and Brett H-Town Wheelhouse Chancey.
We are Locked On Houston Astros, and we hope that you join us for a daily Locked On Astros podcast. My name is Eric Huysman. You can find me on X at Eric Talk Stros. Find the show at Locked On Astros, your team every day. Brett, where can they find you at?
They can find me at H-Town Wheelhouse on X, Instagram, and TikTok, at Stros411 on X and on Facebook, and Back to the Bullpen. You know where to find me. Look, I'm always positive, always Stros.
Hey, guys, thank you for making the Locked On Astros podcast your first listen every day, whether it's on YouTube. Go ahead and subscribe to us. Make us first listen, Apple, Odyssey, Spotify, wherever you listen to your podcasts. Go and check us out. Today's episode is brought to you by Monarch Money. Take control of your finances with Monarch Money. Use the code LOCKEDONMLB at monarchmoney.com for 50% off your first year. And this episode is also brought to you by the Crawford Boxes, which is Isac Paredes' favorite home, away from home. I guess this is his home now, but he sure loves to hit home runs in Crawford Boxes. So we're going to talk about that. Like you mentioned, Wesneski, he had a great day. He looked like an ace out there. And the one thing I do want to say about him is that he, despite giving up the 3 solo home runs, he did not cave in. He did not keep his head down low. He went out there and struck out 10 Angels hitters. And so 16 strikeouts overall for today. And Dubon got to use the torpedo bat. He's the first Astro hitter to use the torpedo bat. Yeah. It did result in 2 stolen bases. Wait, that doesn't help get help with the bat, but he did get a RBI single. But overall, what's going to happen in the next turn of the rotation? And we have some injury updates. Well, I guess not injury updates, but Lance McCullers update. And also you kind of got the curtain peeled back a little bit on what happened with Spencer Arrighetti. So we'll go and talk about this some more on this edition of Locked On Astros.
Yeah, definitely. Let's start with Hayden Wesneski. You get another home series win. You love that. Like you said, despite the 3 solo shots, also, he did not yield a single walk. So 3 solo shots, 3 runs, 5 hits, 10 strikeouts. I would have been like, I don't know. That doesn't seem like it would all be in the same game.
Right.
Wesneski I think he's been phenomenal. Someone mentions here in the chat that all 3 pieces of the Kyle Tucker trade took part today and contributed. Mm-hmm. And, as hot as Kyle Tucker has been and as good as he is for the Cubs, and no matter how much talk there is right now of them extending Kyle Tucker, there's a rumor out there that he's 10 to 11 years, 450 to 500 million. The bottom line is he's gone. He's not here. So we can't lament over that anymore. We've got to move forward. I mean, when you get a number 5 starter in your rotation and he does the things that Wesneski is doing, dude, his sweeper was working today. What I liked is if you go back to that first inning, he was leaving baseballs up, but he came back and he got 2 strikeouts. Second inning, the Angels, did some more damage. Then he came back with 2 strikeouts. He has this ability to make adjustments, and he has a pretty solid mentality. I think down the road, that's going to mean a lot to the Astros. If they can find themselves in a deep playoff run, and they can use someone like Hayden Wesneski when they get into a longer series in the playoffs, he could be a real benefit down the road.
I know that you mentioned 5th starter, but I believe at this point he is the 4th starter. Some could argue that he's potentially better than Ronel Blanco at this point in his career. So he could be potentially the 3rd starter until Spencer Arrighetti gets back. But at this point, it's just a matter of where do you see him as? Like, if the All-Star break would come about, where would he line up? And at this point, if he keeps on, I know he has a 4 ERA and he had that one bad game, but the other games have been quality starts.
Yeah.
He had the 10 strikeouts, and we had the Dominic from the Locked On Fantasy Baseball guys come on and basically said, this guy is going to be a stud. You found somebody. And this is what Dana Brown does. He's able to find a player that other teams aren't able to fully assess their talent. Like you say, Kikuchi. I'm not saying that he wasn't a good player before and he wasn't a good player after. He's not having the best season with the Angels. But when he got over here to the Astros, for some reason, they're able to, I hate to use the word, but put a cheat code or something on there where the pitchers are able to put in different gear, but they don't find the same success. Garrett Cole, he's been a great pitcher for the Yankees, but he hasn't been the same pitcher he was with the Astros. So there's something that the Astros do here. And I think eventually maybe free agents and maybe homegrown talent will start to recognize that, and they maybe won't want to leave town, but maybe it's analytics, maybe it's just the pitching coaches, maybe it's just the pitching philosophy of the organization. But it just shows that he wasn't using his sweeper a lot in the first two games, and he broke it out like 37 times. First two games, it was only 30 times. In this game, it was 37 times. And he did that on purpose for a little bit. This lineup was a little bit more right-handed, but he went out there and adjusted. He said, okay, this is what I need to do against the Angels. That's mostly right-handed. And he had a game plan, and he did not let the home runs change his game plan.
Yeah.
By giving up the instant runs, he did not change his mind.
Well, and look, and we saw this a lot with Justin Verlander. He gave up a lot of solo home runs. And, Justin Verlander would even say after games, you're not going to lose by the solo home run. It's when guys are on base. So Wesneski did a great job. And look, when you've got a supporting cast like Isac Paredes, who hits a home run in this third straight game at Dyken Park on City Connect or not Space City, I guess, City Connect weekend, which I thought that was a nice touch, Eric. I'm really glad that the Astros wore them not just on Monday, because I'm sorry, City Connect or Space City Mondays is kind of like it's Monday. Like there's no pizzazz there. And I get it. I get the promotional night trying to get more people to the park, but I liked the entire weekend wearing the uniforms. And someone even said to me over the weekend, I did a little watch along towards the last part of that game full of fireworks. I believe it was on Friday night. Someone's like, we should just make the City Connect jerseys our home jerseys and just not wear the other home jerseys. I was like, I'm all for that. That would be great. I like the look.
Yeah, and I know a lot of people are hesitant to like this new jersey, but I actually like it. I think it's clean. I think it's a nice look. Like you're wearing.
I think everybody likes it. I think everybody's dying the wool about it. I mean, I haven't seen anybody.
Well, before it came out, a lot of people were saying like when we saw the leaks and everything, it was a lot of people were like, oh, that's stupid, and I'm never going to buy it. And now people are shelling out the $400 or whatever it costs to buy the jerseys just to get them. But it's a nice, clean look. I'm nothing against Space City, whatever it was, jerseys. I think this is just more like, how the Rockets had that pajama uniform, and some people liked it, some people didn't. That's just kind of what
the blue with the pinstripes that didn't go all the way through those were I'm sorry, those are horrible jerseys. But you know what?
Cartoonist rocket on it too.
Yes. Did you see the City Connect for the Rockies?
Yes.
It's bad. I'm like, unless they're going for like an Easter weekend, like pastel thing, I'm sorry. I'm like, I get the
color of the Rocky Mountain. I get it.
Okay. I get it, but this is baseball. This is not, I'm sorry. This is not the Magnolia Silos in Waco, Texas. Okay. Yeah. This is not I'm sorry. This is baseball. Sorry, dudes. This is not it. That's dudes don't wear stuff like that. It's just weird, man. I don't like that. I don't even like the Giants. The Giants look like some like little league select team. I'm glad the Astros did what they did. I really, really like it. But the Astros come in, despite what the jerseys look like. Isac Paredes, Eric, just looks great. Bringing his hands in, hitting, pulling the ball to left field. The Crawford boxes should be called the Paredes boxes, or I mean, we need to come up with a
Brett,
nickname for that.
if he brings a parade to Houston, we could talk about that. But guys, thank you for making Locked On Astros podcast your first listen every day, whether it's on YouTube. Go ahead and subscribe to us, and we'll be back in a second.
That's why this episode is brought to you by Wonderful Pistachios. Get cracking and visit wonderfulpistachios.com today. Let me tell you about Wonderful Pistachios. They are the highest protein nuts that are out there on the market. Each 1 ounce serving has 6 grams of protein, giving you over 10% your daily value. Plus, they're packed with fiber and better for you saturated fats to help you keep feeling fuller longer. Trust me, I just got back from a trip and I know about eating snacks. I didn't always have Wonderful Pistachios around. So when I didn't, I would get a snack and I wouldn't really feel full. It wouldn't satisfy me. And so what happens is you want to snack more. With Wonderful Pistachios, you snack just enough. So if you're like me and you have cracking open every shell, they have that option. They have a shell off option. And not only do they have different flavors, but they have these easy to go, these easy grab bags that you can take anywhere, whether you're at the office, whether you're on a road trip, whether you're at the park with a family. It doesn't matter. Wonderful Pistachios are the snack that works as hard as you. So get cracking and get snacking on the snack that packs a protein punch. Visit wonderfulpistachios.com. Do it right now to learn more.
Hey guys, thank you for making Locked On Astros podcast your first listen every day, whether it's on YouTube. Go ahead, subscribe to us, make us first listen. Apple, Odyssey, Spotify, wherever you listen to your podcast. Go ahead and check us out. And before we move on to Paredes, I do want to talk about the pitching staff as a whole today. 16 strikeouts. You had Wesneski with 10. Then Brian King came in got 2 strikeouts. And then Abreu came in, got 3 strikeouts. Then Hader got 1. So that's 16 strikeouts by pitching staff. That's 1 short of a Astros franchise record of 17. Nice. So this is sorry. Let me take that back. That's 1 strikeout short of a club record with no walks in a game. So,
wow.
So that's pretty awesome. The fact that not only did they strike so many batters out, but they also had no walks in this game. So it was dominating pitching all around. Yes, you gave up the 3 freebie home runs, but that's okay. He's challenged them some, and they've got some good power. What the Angels have done, if you look at their pitching this year, their pitchers, they're towards the bottom of the league in terms of baseball, in terms of ERA, and the Astros are kind of more in the middle of the pack. But one thing before we get to Paredes is something that was brought up and has been brought up a lot recently is the Astros allowed batting average. It is 3rd best in baseball. So pitchers are allowing a 190 batting average to opponents. The only teams that are allowing a better batting average are the Padres, who just shut out the Colorado Rockies for a whole weekend series. No runs for the entire series. Wow. So they're batting 180. Sorry, they're allowing a 181 batting average. The Cincinnati Reds, a lot of that has to do with Hunter Green. They're allowing a 184 batting average, and then you have the Astros at 190.
Yeah, look, right now, I'm not going to worry about where these teams are in the standings. I'm not going to worry about where they rank, whether it's 3rd, 30th, 5th, 15th. As long as they keep winning series, and someone like Isac Paredes, who didn't have any home runs coming into this series and now has 3 home runs 3 days in a row. This 26-year-old 5'11" third baseman who replaced Alex Bregman, who was also 5'11", not 6 foot. He's listed at 5'11" in Boston. I don't know if you noticed that. So the 6 foot myth is gone. The man, the myth, the legend is in Boston at 5'11". But dude, he's hitting 276, an OPS of 830, and an on-base percentage of 382. He's doing exactly what he came here to do. And he still has a great eye. And you know who else, Eric, going under the radar today? He was 0 for 2, but he had 2 walks. Christian Walker, he didn't have a walk coming into this series. He's walked several times this series. And so when you've got Paredes, when you've got Alvarez, when you've got Walker, when you've got Altuve, these guys at the top, and they're doing their job more games than not, 2 out of 3 games, when other people contribute, it's massive. Jeremy Pena, you mentioned Mauricio Dubon. He got the RBI from the torpedo bat. And so, look, right as Blummer had mentioned, or Todd Callis had mentioned the bat, he hits the ball right on the spot where the bat is kind of, I guess, rearranged when it comes to where the meat of the bat is. And so who knows what other Astros are going to use it, but all we need is this team to keep moving forward. Paredes has done really well. 3 RBI today with that home run. He did strike out twice. There was one strikeout. He went down looking. It was not a strike. He should have walked. So that's a little bit on the umpire more so.
Hey,
than
Brett, a little bit more on that situation was that was a high curveball that was called. That you kind of mentioned that there.
Yeah.
But Paredes, like the Wesneski, he didn't hang his head down. The next at bat was when he hit that 3-run home run to give the Astros the lead there. So this was a situation where he knew what he was trying to do. He was trying to give the Astros the lead, and he's been taking advantage of the Crawford boxes. He said, it's the same approach I've had since the beginning of the season, but now they're just going fair. So he said he's been having a hard time keeping them fair. And basically in the first series here at Dyken Park, he went 3 for 20 with 1 extra base hit. And but this series, it's just clicked for him, and he's become a much better hitter. And I know we're on pace, guys, in this early point of the season, but if he continues to hit a home run every game at Dyken Park, like he's done the past 3 games, he's going to hit a lot of home runs. But I know he's not going to. But it's just it's so easy for him. He doesn't even have to hit the ball hard, just because that's his natural swing. And 2 of their home runs today and this weekend would have been only a home run in 2 parks, here and Fenway Park.
Hey, that's a home field advantage. Someone asked if it was only Dubon using the torpedo bat. I did not see anybody else using them.
Yeah.
So I think that answer is correct. So yeah. And whether they use them or not, I mean, look, it doesn't matter. You come in this series, you beat the brakes off them, Friday, Saturday, you run into a lefty that doesn't throw hard. Something about lefties that don't throw hard, that have good stuff, the Astros just don't do well with. And so, the Angels pitcher had his way with the Astros, had a no-hitter at one point. But that's going to happen. Take 2 out of 3, that's great. But you know what the Astros have not done this year, Eric?
What's that?
They have not won back-to-back games. They have yet to win back-to-back games. All their wins have been every other game. So maybe they can get a good old-fashioned 2-game win streak when, I believe, was the Cardinals coming to town next?
No, we're going to St. Louis.
Oh, we're going to St. Louis. Okay. So we're going out on the road. I wasn't sure. I knew we played them. I couldn't remember if we were staying here or going there. Okay. So we're going to St. Louis. And St. Louis beat Philadelphia today 7-0. Wow.
Yeah. And it's going to be our old competitor or nemesis, Sonny Gray. This is a guy that the Astros fans thought we're going to be trading for several times. This guy that's fared pretty well against the Astros in the past. Altuve
didn't Cam Smith hit a home run off of him in spring training? Was it him?
Possibly. I want to say he hit a home run off of somebody. 2 hitters that were major leaguers. One of them was
hit it off of somebody. No, you were like, hit it off of somebody.
McGill, and I want to say if it wasn't Sonny Gray, it was somebody else. Okay?
Yeah, I think it was Sonny Gray. That's why I just. I mean, look, I know it was spring training. I know Sonny was working on stuff. But yeah, sorry, Plants. This is not a golf show, but yes, that was a great win by Rory McIlroy, finally winning the Masters.
I love how all Astros Twitter is like, Rory, what's going on? What are you doing? And it's like, I thought we were talking about baseball, but I forgot the Masters is going on. But guys, thank you for making Locked On Astros podcast your first listen every day. Go ahead and subscribe to us, and we'll be back in a second.
All right. Well, now that we've talked about wonderful pistachios, let's talk about your money, right? What a great transition. Monarch Money is here. And if you use the code LOCKEDONMLB, you'll get 50% off your first year. Now, why would you go for a full year with Monarch Money? Well, because it's like having your own personal CFO, giving you full visibility and control over your finances. Ever check your bank account and wonder, where did all the money go? Between dining out, online shopping, entertainment, maybe Astros tickets, you lose track.
Astros hats.
Well, Monarch Money isn't just a budgeting app. It's a complete financial command center. You can track all your accounts, investments, and spending in one place. So you can stop just managing your money and you can start building wealth. Surprising Insights helps you realize just how much money you're using and spending. Instead of juggling multiple apps, you can use Monarch Money to check your finances, track spending, and you can manage money with your partner and make it smoother. Less arguments, less stress. Everybody loves that. So take control of your finances with Monarch Money. Use the code LOCKEDONMLB at monarchmoney.com for 50% off your first year. That's monarchmoney.com, code LOCKEDONMLB for half off your first year.
Hey guys, thank you for making Locked On Astros podcast your first listen every day. Whether it's on YouTube, go ahead, subscribe to us. Make us first listen on Apple, Odyssey, Spotify, wherever you listen to your podcasts. Go and check us out. Brett, this weekend was great. It's exactly what the Astros needed. Not only did they win the series, but they actually had some offense to take care of things. And so I know we had the 16 hits on Friday. Then they went down to 3 hits the day before. And it's like, okay, well, I guess we're back to being the Astros. But in today's game, the Astros didn't out-hit the Angels. They only had 6 hits compared to the Angels' 9. But they had the hits at the right time, and 5 runs in the second inning propelled them, especially with Isac Paredes' 3-run home run. I almost said 5-run home run, but you had that situation where you had 5 runs in that inning.
Hey, you know what you just did, Eric? You turned into Rob Manfred. Now you're just changing baseball to change baseball for no reason.
Yeah. So I know we normally do a player to game, but in this game, it was hard to really pick. So I think we decided it's got to go to Wesneski and Paredes. I mean, without their efforts, they would not have won this game.
Exactly. Wesneski with the 10 strikeouts with 10 punchies with no walks, phenomenal sweeper towards the end there. And then again, Isac Paredes hitting that 3-run home run just really set the tone. So I love that. So I just looked it up, Eric. Sonny Gray is 4-4 against the Astros with a 3.03 ERA, 65 strikeouts, and 12 career appearances versus them. And most of the appearances against Sonny Gray have been when he was with Oakland. We've got 1 against him when he was with the Yankees. So the last 2 games he pitched against us, I don't believe. Oh, there was 1 13 strikeout game, and the other one was a 3 strikeout game, but it doesn't look like he got the win or the loss in that. So Sonny Gray has had marginal success against us. And so it's just one of those things where you hope you come out and you go on the road. And what do we learn about this team in the last several years? They love hitting on the road. And why not go to St. Louis and remind St. Louis what we did to them back in 2005 when we beat them in the NLCS. That was a great game. That was a great series. Roy Oswalt clinching the NLCS to go to their first World Series.
Yeah, and the bulldozer and everything. And just anytime like we play the Cardinals, the Braves, I just have flashbacks of playing them back in the playoffs and all those years. But not really Giants. I know we played them a little bit, but
Giants. They had that. Mike Scott had that no-hitter to clinch the division against the Giants in the Astrodome.
Yeah.
That was cool. But yeah, they weren't really a rival. Gosh, yeah. Can you believe? I still can't believe the Padres beat us that year that we had Randy Johnson. Dude, if we get past the Padres,
Kevin Brown.
I know. If we get past Kevin Brown, Astros win the World Series that year. I mean,
yeah, especially that team, especially with the big unit on mound. But unfortunately, the Astros just could not hit Kevin Brown at that moment. And the best team the Astros probably ever had up to that point.
Well, look, here's the deal. I don't want to get deep in the muck and mire of the Astros past, but 86, had we gone to game 7, the Mets all tell us they would have lost because Mike Scott probably would have no hit them. So Dubon using the torpedo bat, do you think this sets a trend for other players to try it? Or do you think it, I mean, I think it's less an anomaly and less of a story now. The way that it came about and the way that it was talked about in the weekend that it happened, when it was the first weekend and the Yankees hit like 8 million home runs. And then everybody like me, who like short-sightedly said, oh, well, no wonder they hit 8,000 home runs. They have these new weird bats that we've never heard of. It's almost like MLB just like, okay, yeah. Like, do you want to do a press release on it? But I think this is a Dubon thing. If Dubon can hit better with it, dude, keep doing it, dude. Because remember, he even used Yordan Alvarez's bat to get some help.
Well, I don't think it's the fact that he was trying to hit home runs because chicks dig the lawn ball. It's the fact that he says when he gets hits the ball, it's typically at that part of the bat. So he's just trying to get a better part of the bat.
It fits his swing.
Yeah.
And that's what I think a lot of people are trying to say. Look, Yordan Alvarez is not the type of hitter that's going to use that. Vlad Guerrero Jr. is not going to use that torpedo bat. Guys that have the long swings, the smoother swings. Bregman with the Red Sox could use the torpedo bat because he's got his bat close. He keeps his hands in. But as long as these guys are hitting, I don't care what their bat is. Yeah. As long as it's legal, I don't care.
Yeah, as long as the umpires aren't going around checking like for everything. I don't want this to become like the pitchers do, where they have to check them as they exit the inning, so they don't check their bats every time.
Well, I don't think they're going to do that. I mean,
I just don't want to get to that point, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, I don't think that's going to happen. So a rotation update. Dude, Lance McCullers Jr. is killing it, Eric. Lance McCullers Jr. is really hard charging towards a spot, which may mean what for like Ryan Gusto, Eric Getty's on the IL. I mean, we're going to have a crunch, and we're probably going to go to a 6-man rotation once Lance McCullers comes back, and Ryan Gusto will probably be there until Eric Getty gets here. But that'll be interesting to see what we do with this rotation.
Well, I know before Friday's game, I know that Dana Brown basically said that Gusto was guaranteed one start, and then he started on Saturday, and the name Colton Gordon came up as a possible option on Friday. But after the game on Saturday, he pitched really well. Gusto did. He didn't get the win, of course, because the Astros only scored 1 run. But it was a situation where he pitched pretty good in 4 innings, considering he didn't go that deep in any other games. He's been a long reliever. And so he's going to get another start. Likely it's going to be probably on Wednesday or one other day. But he's going to get at least one more turn in a rotation. And then from there, they're going to have to make a decision on what they want to do from there, whether it's go with Colton Gordon or Lance McCullers is going to make a start, I believe, with the Corpus Christi Hooks on Saturday or maybe some point on this weekend. So, but Dana Brown did say that Lance McCullers could come back some point during the Kansas City series, which is April 25th through the 7th. And so he, in 4 innings, he threw 61 pitches. He got 13 swings and misses, and he threw the main thing. I know it doesn't matter, but 4 scoreless innings. That's very impressive, and considering how he's been doing in the past.
Yeah, and he struck out the side in his first inning, like he did in his first rehab start. So that was that was cool to see him do that.
Right, and he's averaging 91.4 miles per hour on 13 sinkers and 80.5 miles per hour on the curveballs, which is below his average. But overall, he's looking pretty good, and he thinks that he's kind of where he needs to be. His next start, they hope to get him between 75 to 80 pitches, and then from there, they're hoping that he can be active for that Kansas City series.
Yeah, that's impressive. I didn't really think that he would be here that early. I thought it'd be like May or June. You love to see it. This guy's wanted to be out there more than any of us. And he's kind of taken it on the chin. I've probably been one of the people that have given it to him here and there. I guess just because the boiled over frustration of, how much the guy's getting paid and he's not out there. But there's not a single athlete that I know of that's been a part of the Astros organization. I can't say for any other sports team, because I do know some NFL guys that are guilty of this. Once they get paid, they get lazy. But Lance McCullers and guys in this organization, when they get paid, they go out there and they do the work. They don't sit back on their laurels. They have a responsibility. And I think if Lance McCullers Jr. can come back and let's say he gets 5, 6, 7, 8 wins on the season, the dude could make a strong case for comeback player of the year, Eric, because he literally hasn't been able to do anything for 2 seasons. And to come back and actually have an impact and get wins, that would be second to none. And that would elongate this rotation. That would help. You wouldn't have to rush someone like a Colton Gordon to come up. Logan Van Wy is up now. He made his major league debut. He got called up. And so you got a bunch of different cogs in the wheel for the pitching staff. I like where we're headed. I'm just hoping we have a good series in St. Louis. We can put together a good old fashioned win streak.
Cam Smith, a lot of people were talking about maybe he's not ready for major league level. Well, in the past 7 games, he's batting .250 with a .458 slugging percentage. On base percentage is still at .280, but he has 6 hits in his past 7 games. So overall, he's looking a little bit better. He's got the 1 home run, 6 RBIs, and a couple walks and a stolen base. So he's putting it together. He didn't go hitless on Saturday, but overall, he looked a lot more confident at the plate.
Well, there were a lot of Astros that didn't hit Saturdays. So he just kind of joined that. Like I said, they have a hard time with lefties that don't throw hard. So keep it up, Cam Smith, the aircraft carrier, as I call him, because Dana Brown did first. But, hey, this has been a great show, Eric. Good to be back together. We'll be back the rest of the week covering all things Houston Astros. Make sure you check us out. We are your team every single day.
And Brett, before we sign out, I want to just say the Astros hitting coaches had a great weekend. We'll go and talk about this and more on the next edition of the Locked On Astros podcast.
That did not go the way I envisioned it.
Go Stars.
Thank you.